The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. In The Interpretation of Dreams, Freud throws down a gauntlet, challenging the prevailing scientific dogma of his time that relegated dreams to the realm of the meaningless. Freud's philosophy directly confronts the dominant scientific thought of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Freud argues that this conceptualization of our dreaming life stripped dreams of any psychological weight. These theories, he explains, saw dreaming not as a psychic activity at all, but as a somatic process which makes itself known to the psychic apparatus by means of symbols. This essentially rendered dreams as meaningless physiological byproducts of sleep, akin to involuntary muscle twitches, with no deeper significance to unravel. Such a perspective left no room for the concept of dream interpretation, because it inherently negated the idea that a dream could mean anything. Freud, however, acknowledges the inherent human resistance to this scientific dismissal of dreams. He notes that many people believe dreams have hidden meanings, despite being considered illogical by many scientists. This belief is driven by an intuition that dreams are masked expressions of other thought processes, waiting to be deciphered. Freud critiques the two most common methods used by the unscientific world to interpret dreams. The first method is symbolic interpretation. Symbolic interpretation tries to understand the dream as a whole, substituting its seemingly nonsensical content with a coherent and analogous narrative. While this approach might work for straightforward allegorical dreams, it falls short with the chaotic nature of most dreams. The second method is the cipher method. The cipher method abandons the holistic approach and instead treats the dream as a fragmented code, where individual elements are assigned predetermined meanings according to a fixed key, like consulting a dream dictionary. However, this method ignores the critical element of individual context. A letter, in one person's dream, might symbolize vexation, while for another it could represent something entirely different. Freud criticizes this approach for its reliance on unreliable sources and its purely mechanical transference, which disregards the unique personal associations connected to each dream element. However, Freud acknowledges an interesting variant of the cipher method in the work of the ancient dream interpreter Artemidorus of Daldis. It will be an advantage, and not only an advantage but a necessity both for the dreamer and for the consultant, to have the dream interpreter briefed as to the identity of the dreamer, his occupation, his birth, his financial situation, his state of health, and his age, and the nature of the dream itself must be examined in precise detail. Any small addition or omission can skew the predicted outcome, as we go on to demonstrate. So anyone failing to adhere to these conditions can only blame himself, rather than us, if things go wrong. Unlike the generalist dream dictionary approach, Artemidorus recognized that the same dream content could hold different meanings depending on the individual dreamer's social position and personal circumstances. Though still limited by a reliance on the interpreter's own associations, this incorporation of the dreamer's background foreshadowed Freud's emphasis on the importance of the dreamer's unique context and experiences in understanding the true meaning of a dream. Our dream analysis app, that you can find in the description, closely follows these Artemidorian and Freudian principles of personalized dream interpretation. Freud's psychoanalytic method for dream interpretation requires a unique approach to understanding the dreamer's inner world, one that involves actively engaging with the unconscious through a process of guided self-observation and free association. Freud emphasizes that this journey into the unconscious requires a specific mental preparation on the part of the dreamer. The first step, he explains, is to cultivate a state of heightened awareness of one's internal psychic experiences while simultaneously suspending critical judgment. He instructs his patients to assume a restful posture, closing their eyes to minimize external distractions, and to focus their attention inwards. It's crucial, he insists, to renounce all criticism of the thought formations which he may perceive, allowing thoughts to arise without attempting to censor or evaluate them. This deliberate suspension of the conscious mind's gatekeeper function is crucial. It's only by silencing this inner critic, he argues, that the unconscious can truly reveal itself. Freud contrasts this state of uncritical self-observation with the more familiar process of reflection. Reflection, he explains, involves a more conscious, deliberate effort to analyze our thoughts and feelings, often accompanied by a sense of self-awareness and judgment. While reflection involves focused attention, it also relies heavily on the critical faculties of the conscious mind, leading to the suppression or dismissal of thoughts deemed illogical, nonsensical, or even threatening. In self-observation, on the other hand, he has but one task, that of suppressing criticism. If he succeeds in doing this, an unlimited number of thoughts enter his consciousness which would otherwise have eluded his grasp. This uncritical state of self-observation, Freud asserts, allows for a more direct engagement with the unconscious, opening a pathway for the dreamer to access the hidden network of thoughts, feelings, and memories that contribute to their dreams. To illustrate the power of uncritical self-observation, Freud draws a parallel to the creative process, referencing the insights of the German poet and philosopher Friedrich Schiller. Schiller, in a letter to a friend grappling with writer's block, described the importance of allowing ideas to flow freely without the intellect's censoring influence. Apparently, it is not good, and indeed it hinders the creative work of the mind, if the intellect examines too closely the ideas already pouring in, as it were, at the gates. Freud proposes that this creative state, characterized by an open mind and a suspension of judgment, is remarkably similar to the mental state needed to access the unconscious material that shapes our dreams. It's a state of heightened awareness coupled with a relinquishment of conscious control, allowing for a free flow of ideas and associations. Freud further suggests that this state of mind is analogous to the state of mind before falling asleep, where the conscious mind relinquishes control, allowing the unconscious to emerge in the form of dreams. He also draws a parallel to the hypnotic state, where conscious control is deliberately suspended, facilitating access to the unconscious. Having outlined the importance of uncritical self-observation, Freud suggests a more focused approach to dream interpretation, encouraging the dreamer to break down the dream into individual fragments and explore each element in isolation. If I ask a patient who is as yet unpracticed, "What occurs to you in connection with this dream?" he is unable, as a rule, to fix upon anything in his psychic field of vision. I must first dissect the dream for him. Then, in connection with each fragment, a number of thoughts occur to him which he feels as explanations. This fragmented approach, he explains, allows for a more nuanced exploration of the unconscious. Freud emphasizes that the same dream element can hold different meanings depending on the individual and their personal experiences. By focusing on individual fragments, the dreamer can more readily access the network of unconscious associations connected to each element. In essence, Freud's method requires the dreamer to actively participate in the interpretation of their own dreams, guided by the analyst, rather than relying on external keys or interpretations. This process of free association, guided by the analyst, allows the unconscious to speak through the dreamer's own thoughts and feelings, uncovering the hidden meaning of the dream. Freud's psychoanalytic method is best illustrated by his detailed analysis of a dream he calls Irma's injection. To fully grasp the significance of the dream, Freud provides a thorough account of the events leading up to it. He sets the stage by introducing his patient, Irma, a young woman who is not only a patient but also a close friend of his and his family. This complex relationship creates a unique dynamic, involving both heightened personal interest and potential professional conflict. He explains that Irma's treatment has been partially successful but not fully resolved, leaving Freud feeling uncertain about his ability to provide a complete cure. This sense of uncertainty and potential blame for her ongoing discomfort becomes a crucial element in understanding the dream's meaning. The dream itself arises in response to a conversation Freud had with his colleague Otto regarding Irma's health. Otto informs Freud that Irma is better, but not quite well. This seemingly innocuous comment, Freud reveals, deeply annoys him. He feels a hidden reproach in Otto's words, attributing it to the influence of Irma's relatives who, he believes, have always disapproved of his treatment. Later that evening, Freud writes a clinical history of Irma's case, ostensibly to justify his treatment to another friend and colleague, Dr. M. The dream follows shortly after, revealing the anxieties and unresolved emotions stirred by the events of that day. A great hall, a number of guests whom we are receiving, among them Irma, whom I immediately take aside, as though to answer her letter and to reproach her for not yet accepting the solution. I say to her, "If you still have pains, it is really only your own fault." She answers, "If you only knew what pains I have now in the throat, stomach, and abdomen, I am choked by them." I am startled and look at her. She looks pale and puffy. I think that after all I must be overlooking some organic affection. I take her to the window and look into her throat. She offers some resistance to this, like a woman who has a set of false teeth. I think surely she doesn't need them. The mouth then opens wide, and I find a large white spot on the right, and elsewhere I see extensive grayish-white scabs adhering to curiously curled formations, which are evidently shaped like the turbinal bones of the nose. I quickly call Dr. M, who repeats the examination and confirms it. Dr. M looks quite unlike his usual self. He is very pale, he limps, and his chin is clean-shaven. Now my friend Otto, too, is standing beside her, and my friend Leopold percusses her covered chest and says, "She has a dullness below, on the left," and also calls attention to an infiltrated portion of skin on the left shoulder, which injection of a preparation of propyl, propyls, propionic acid, trimethylamine, the formula of which I see before me, printed in heavy type. One doesn't give such injections so rashly. Probably, too, the syringe was not clean. Freud then systematically dissects the dream, meticulously exploring each element and its associated memories and emotions, revealing the interconnected web of unconscious thoughts and feelings. The grand hall filled with guests is linked to Freud's upcoming wife's birthday, creating a sense of festive celebration. Irma, Freud's patient, appears in the dream, and Freud immediately addresses her, reproaching her for not accepting the solution, referencing his theory that understanding the unconscious root of a neurotic symptom leads to its resolution. However, Freud also reveals that he feels a strong sense of not wanting to be blamed for Irma's continued suffering. Irma's complaints, including pains in her throat, abdomen, and stomach, are not the same symptoms he initially treated her for. This discrepancy suggests a subconscious desire to shift the blame for her continued ailments away from himself. The dream scene shifts to Dr. M, another colleague, and Freud's anxiety about potentially overlooking an organic affection, a common fear among specialists who deal primarily with neurotic patients. This reveals Freud's underlying anxiety of being seen as incompetent or failing to recognize a genuine physical condition. Freud's use of the word quickly when he calls Dr. M to examine Irma triggers a deeply personal memory. He recalls a past medical case where his hasty use of a drug led to a patient's poisoning, revealing a subconscious concern about his medical competence and a desire to atone for past mistakes. The dream concludes with an injection administered by Otto, a reminder of his earlier irritation with his colleague's ambiguous comment on Irma's health. The injection itself serves as a metaphor, representing Otto's perceived careless pronouncements and Freud's desire to rebuke him. The chemical term trimethylamine triggers a complex chain of associations. Freud links this term to a friend's theories about sexual chemistry and then connects it to Irma's widowhood, suggesting that her condition might be linked to her sexual status. This reveals a hidden layer of unconscious desire for Irma to be more receptive to his treatment, and a subconscious desire for her to be available romantically. Through meticulous analysis, Freud uncovers the overarching wish fulfillment at the heart of the dream. The dream fulfills several wishes, which were awakened within me by the events of the previous evening. The dream grants Freud the wish to be absolved of responsibility for Irma's continued suffering. He shifts the blame to Otto, implying that the injection he administered was the cause of her ailments. He also portrays Irma as partly to blame, suggesting that her resistance to his treatment is a factor in her condition. Furthermore, the dream offers a number of alternative explanations for Irma's illness, including her widowhood, further absolving him of responsibility. The dream also expresses Freud's anger and resentment towards Otto, Irma, and even Dr. M, reflecting his desire to be free from these individuals who challenge his authority or contradict his ideas. It is as though I were to say, rid me of these three persons, replace them by three others of my own choice, and I shall be rid of the reproaches which I am not willing to admit that I deserve. Beyond the immediate wish to be absolved of responsibility for Irma's condition, the dream reveals a more profound underlying concern: Freud's anxieties about his professional competence and his desire to be recognized as a capable and caring physician. The dream showcases Freud's concern for the health of others, including his daughter, his wife, and even a deceased patient. It also reveals his own physical ailments and anxieties about medical mistakes. These themes, interwoven with the dream's core narrative, underscore a deeper wish to be seen as a conscientious and reliable medical practitioner, contrasting with Otto's perceived skepticism and judgment. While recognizing the possibility of further interpretation, Freud emphasizes the central finding of his analysis: dreams, far from being meaningless, serve as powerful expressions of our unconscious wishes and desires. When the work of interpretation has been completed, the dream can be recognized as a wish fulfillment. Having laid bare the intricate wish fulfillment dynamics in Irma's injection, Freud, in a spirit of scientific inquiry, doesn't rest on his laurels. He seeks to understand the broader implications of his findings, questioning whether the wish fulfillment function is a universal characteristic of dreams or a unique feature of the particular dream he analyzed. Freud poses a pivotal question: are there then dreams other than wish dreams? Or are there none but wish dreams? This seemingly simple query opens a gateway to a more profound exploration of the nature of dreams. It acknowledges that the Irma's injection dream, while revealing, might not be representative of all dreams. It challenges Freud to consider whether other motivations might drive dream formation, prompting him to expand his theory to encompass a wider range of dream experiences. Freud starts by examining a category of dreams he labels convenience dreams, which directly address the dreamer's immediate bodily needs during sleep. He uses his own experience with thirst as an example. If I succeed in appeasing my thirst by means of the dream that I am drinking, I need not wake up in order to satisfy that thirst. It is thus a dream of convenience. These dreams, he explains, are driven by a straightforward desire to resolve discomfort or satisfy a need while asleep. The dream in this case acts as a temporary solution, a surrogate for waking action, allowing the dreamer to continue sleeping until the need becomes less urgent. Freud elaborates on this theme with another personal example, describing a dream where his wife provides him with a drink from a vase, an Etruscan cinerary urn, even though he no longer possesses the urn. This seemingly odd detail, Freud contends, reveals the wish fulfillment aspect of the dream, suggesting a longing for an inaccessible object. This desire, fueled by the inconvenience of thirst and the longing for the lost urn, reveals the dream's power to address immediate needs and latent desires, even when those desires are tied to unattainable objects. Freud continues his exploration by turning to the dreams of children, arguing that, unburdened by the complex layers of adult life, these dreams offer a clearer window into the fundamental nature of wish fulfillment. He provides several examples, drawing from his own children and other sources. His son, disappointed by the absence of a real-life trip to the simony hut, dreams of visiting it in his sleep. This simple dream, Freud suggests, directly fulfills the boy's unmet desire, demonstrating the dream's power to compensate for unmet needs. His daughter, drawn to a charming boy named Emile, dreams of him becoming a part of the family, awakening to a treasure trove of chocolate bars. Here, the dream fulfills the girl's desire for a deeper connection with her friend and for the coveted treat she was denied in waking life. To reinforce the universality of the wish fulfillment concept, Freud even turns to the realm of proverbs, highlighting the everyday language's recognition of dreams as wish fulfillments. He cites the proverb, "I should never have fancied that in the wildest dream," exclaims one who finds his expectations surpassed in reality, as a clear example of how the notion of dreams fulfilling desires is deeply embedded in our collective consciousness. These dreams reveal a fundamental human tendency to find fulfillment, even if only within the realm of dreams, for desires that remain unfulfilled in waking life. Freud's exploration of dreams, rather than offering a neat set of solutions, leaves us standing at the edge of a vast and mysterious landscape, the human unconscious. By opening the royal road to the unconscious, Freud tore away our ignorance and oriented us towards our blind spot. Although the treasure hidden beneath the unconscious is that of life, will we have the courage to face the terrifying reflection of our shadows? Will we have the virtue to meet the being that we constitute? Or will we wallow in the comfort of ignorance? I profoundly thank you for spending time with me marveling at the mysterious realm of dreams. If you want to start interpreting your dreams, I've created a beginner dream journal that you can get for free in the description. If you want a more convenient and systematized dream analysis process, check out the Self-Dream Analysis app. The link is also in the description. Love, and see you in the next video.